I've been using this 11th Gen A16 iPad for about 6 months now, and I have to say it's the smartest Apple purchase I've made all year. And I bought a lot of Apple stuff this year. And now that iPadOS 26 has launched, it makes this device even more capable than ever before. You have seriously good window control, you have excellent file management, and if you pair this device with a good keyboard and trackpad, this thing blows any Chromebook or low-end PC out of the water. And with all this functionality, I'll tell you right now, if you buy this iPad and the right accessories, there's absolutely no reason to buy a MacBook. Because the more you know how to use your iPad, the more you realize, gosh, I probably don't need to get an iPad and a Mac. It's kind of a waste of money. And that's not just YouTube talk, I'm actually serious about that, and we'll talk more about it in just a minute. Hey everyone, Tech Dad here, and if you're looking for a new device to get your real work done and handle all your personal stuff, and you want to do it on a budget, the A16 iPad is perfect for you. This iPad is ridiculously capable, especially considering how much it costs. It's coming in at $349 or $329 if you have the student discount. The Microsoft apps run beautifully on it. You can create documents, spreadsheets, and PowerPoint presentations very easily. But if you don't have a subscription to Microsoft, the iPad comes preloaded with Apple's iWork suite, so you have Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, and all of that is free and comes right out of the box with the iPad. This iPad is also compatible with Apple Pencil USB-C. So you have great note-taking capabilities that the Mac just can't offer. In fact, I bought a Mac Mini about 3 weeks ago, and after having it almost a month, I can't believe how meaningless it is to have it, especially if you have an iPad and you know how to use it well. And those are the key words. You have to know how to use this device well so that you don't need this. More content to come about my feelings on this guy later. And so in this video, I want to break down the capabilities and specs of this base iPad. I want to show you how I've been using it the last 6 months and just how capable and powerful it is, especially now that you have the iPadOS 26 features. And I'll show you a couple of shortcomings that this base iPad has, so if you're looking to get a new iPad model, you might want to bump up to the iPad Air if this base one won't cut it for you. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so first, let's just talk about the hardware of this base iPad. And so first of all, I love the fun colors that the base iPad comes in. So you've got this coolish pink red here, you've got blue, and you've got yellow. Or if you need something more traditional, there is silver. It has an 11-inch display, and for a base model, I think this display is absolutely gorgeous. So it has really good brightness. It has decent anti-glare and anti-reflection. You can see here, if I move it around a little bit, you might see a little reflecting of light, but nothing too bad. Now, this iPad came out with the A16 chip, and that is plenty of power to do all the iPad things, especially if you're just doing email or if you're doing word processing or, like I said, working in that Microsoft Office suite. You've got more than enough juice there. The A16 chip is even good enough to do some really good gaming, so Destiny Rising is one of my favorite games right now, and it just released about a month ago, and the A16 iPad runs it really well. Colors really pop, the graphics are beautifully displayed on this base iPad. Now, the base model also includes 128 gigs of storage, and that's good enough for me. I'm using about half the storage, and I got some pretty high-end games on here. All of my documents I store in the cloud, so that really doesn't take up any space on this iPad. And I have an iCloud subscription, so all my photos and videos are stored in the cloud as well. So again, I'm really conserving space by having that cloud subscription. So if you're going to have a cloud subscription, I think the base model of 128 gigs is plenty. Now, concerning accessories, I do have the Apple keyboard, and that's one complaint that I have, is that the keyboard that Apple came out with is really expensive, but it is pretty darn good quality. So it's a folio design, and it actually comes in 2 pieces, and so the back part of this cover is actually a kickstand, and so it provides back protection, but you can also pull the kickstand out and just use it without the keyboard if you want. But you can just as easily magnetically attach the keyboard. It doesn't take any batteries, it just works when you connect it, and that's pretty cool. The best thing about the Apple keyboard is its slim design. I love that there's just very little bulk here, and with third-party keyboards, you usually get a lot of bulk. So this iPad is compatible with Apple Pencil USB-C, and there are some handy magnets to attach it to the top of the iPad. So when you have all the right accessories, this is a nice little package here. You've got all the functionality that you need to get all kinds of work done. Now, let's talk about iPadOS 26 and the productivity that you're getting on this base iPad. So they brought windowing to the base iPad, which you really didn't have before. This iPad did not support Stage Manager, but now you have full windowing control even on this base model. model, which I think is really awesome. So with the Microsoft apps, for example, you can run them side by side if you need to. You can pull up PowerPoint next to Word or Safari if you're grabbing some text from ChatGPT, for example. So I really love that you have some functionality with this iPad where you can actually have lots of windows open and get things done. It's easy to copy and paste and move text around, especially if you're using those keyboard shortcuts. So if you don't know the keyboard shortcuts, take a look at the menu bar. You can just move your cursor up to the top of the screen and the menu bar will appear. And then any keyboard shortcuts that you want to know, you can just see them highlighted there. In addition to window control, you've got really good file management options that you didn't have before. So now you can color code your folders by tagging them. And I like it that you can actually put an image on the folder as well so you can tell your folders apart. So I'm a social studies teacher by trade, and so let's say I'm doing a little project on the Cold War, I'm gathering some notes, I'm making a presentation. I can make a folder for this project, I can color code it, and I can put a symbol on it so I remember it. Another really cool thing is if you're working on a project at hand a lot and you want it easily accessible, you can put the folder on your dock. I like to do this by right-clicking on it or long pressing on it, and then you can select to put it on the dock, and there your files are easily accessible. You don't even have to go dig them up in the Files app. It's awesome. Now, one thing that I think really brings the iPad above a MacBook is the ability to write on it by hand. And so if you're a student, note-taking is critical, but it's also useful in the professional world. So I am a teacher at night, but I'm a project manager by day. And the other day, I was wanting a developer to make a dashboard for me, and I was trying to show some key elements that I needed on it. Well, it's just easy just to sketch that out on a digital piece of paper so that they understand what I'm talking about. So I said I wanted a project list on one side, I needed to see the budget, and I wanted to see it in a pie chart format, and then I wanted risks highlighted at the bottom. So it was just nice and easy to draw that out. And what's cool about the iPad is it corrects your handwriting, it can check spelling even though you hand wrote it. I think that's amazing. And so you're getting the ability to draw and write by hand, and you just don't have that on a Mac. And now that I have it and have been using it so long, I don't know how I lived without it. So productivity has come a long way on this device. I am absolutely astonished with what you can do on the iPad in 2025. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of shortcomings with this base model iPad. So first of all, let's talk secondary display. So you can connect this iPad to a secondary display and it will mirror the display of the iPad. And so if you need a larger screen so you can see things a little bit better, you can absolutely do that. And I've connected it here to my Apple Studio display and I can absolutely see things a lot easier. And since you have keyboard and trackpad support, this actually works really well. Now the drawback to it is it just mirrors. It will not function as a second display. You need an iPad Air or an iPad Pro for that functionality. Another thing about mirroring is it doesn't fill the whole screen and there's no way to do that. You're going to get those black edges on each side. But still, if you just have a monitor laying around and you want to connect to one, you can absolutely do that and continue working on a larger screen. But like I said, if you want that second display functionality and you want the iPad to fill the whole screen, get yourself an iPad Air or a Pro. That's one reason to upgrade from the base. Another reason to upgrade is that this does not support Apple Intelligence, and while I've not seen some major functionality from Apple Intelligence coming along, it's getting a little bit better. But honestly, this iPad can do ChatGPT or any other AI tool that you like to use. It's just not baked into this iPad's operating system like a higher end iPad. Other than that, you're not missing out on a whole lot for $350. I will say that the keyboard made by Apple has this kickstand design and not a clamshell design like the iPad Pro. Although I haven't really noticed a big deal when I'm sitting this iPad on my lap. It still sits comfortably. It's not wobbly or unstable. And honestly, it brings an advantage because you can take this keyboard off and just use the stand, which is how a lot of people like to use their iPad. So there's pros and cons to both types of keyboards here, but I really like the A16 iPad Folio. It's good. Okay, so that's my rundown on this A16 iPad 6 months later. So useful, so handy, and absolutely the best price point. Do not waste your money on a cheap PC or a Chromebook. If you're going with something budget friendly, go with this. And I've got lots of content to show you how to use your iPad effectively. Check that out. Let me know if you have questions about this iPad or this whole do I need a Mac thing. I'm happy to answer those questions. Leave a comment below. That's all I got for you. If you like this sort of content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.